I'm so glad you all came back. And we have new people here with us too, new in the sense that they were not here last week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you here with us this morning for our second in-person service in a long, long time. I'm the Rev. Dr. Sherry F. McCreary. I'm the senior minister here at Creative Living Fellowship, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you here today. Is there anyone here for the first time who's not familiar with our community? So it's Old Home Week, huh? That's great. So it's good to have you here. Just to tell a little bit about our community, Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church. And what that means is that we are not a part of the Centers for Spiritual Living, but we are a religious science church, and we are an independent church. Our deepest intention here is to be a community of love, of care, of connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind and spirit. Let's take a breath together. I'm feeling all nervous and stuff. And you know what? Nervousness and excitement feel the same way. So I think it's excitement that I'm really feeling, excitement for being here. But at any rate, our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that we begin to discover the best that life has to offer as we surrender to that ever-present inner urge to grow, expand, and to break down the barriers of past limitations. And that's our intention here each week, to break down the barriers of past limitations, to grow, to expand. That's part of God's vision for Creative Living Fellowship, is growth and expansion. And so we are here each day to allow, each day really, to allow that vision to be revealed in and through and as each one of us as a part of this community. Let me tell you a little bit about the order of service for today, the lay of the land for today. Holding high watch for us today is practitioner emeritus, Reverend Mary Jane Hyde. And what that means is that she's sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding of our time together here today. Thank you, Reverend Mary Jane. Our practitioner of the day is practitioner emeritus, Carrie Sherman. That's something that happened while we were away over the last 2.5 years. Practitioner Carrie Sherman and practitioner Reverend Mary Jane Hyde became practitioner emeritus. And that means that they have more than 20 years service as practitioners. And let's give them a hand. It also means they don't have to keep up with their service hours anymore. They both really like that a lot. So the practitioner of the day is Carrie Sherman, and she's going to be bringing us our opening prayer. And that will be followed by something new. We have a resident musician and musical inspiration just for this month, Reverend Glenn Swain, who's a friend of this community. And he is going to lead us in a new congregational chant. And the name of it is The World. He will sing it through maybe the first verse one time, and then once you get the sense of it, then you can sing along with him. But that is our congregational chant for now. And after the chant, our favorite gong master is back, Reverend Christopher. And he will do a wonderful gong wash for us after the chant. And after that, then Carrie will be back with the inspirational reading of the day. But right now, here is our opening prayer.
Good morning. Let's just bring our consciousness into this very moment, into this very space, being aware of the one, being aware of the one presence, the one energy, the one light, the one source. Everywhere, always available, ready to be recognized, ready to be used for the highest and best purpose. That life, that energy, that presence, expressing through all things uniquely, but expressing through everything. And all the qualities of that life, all the qualities of that energy and that source are held within each entity. Therefore, I am the one source and unique expression, and I am expressing all the qualities of the divine nature, and that includes creativity and intelligence and joy and health, abundance, and in all ways, loving relationships. I open myself up right here and right now to know who I am, and therefore I know that all is well. I am protected. I am guided gently. And that is the truth for everyone else here in this room and beyond, everywhere. That one life, that one energy that just says, yes, my beloved, I am here to support you, to love you, to guide you, to nurture you. How can anything possibly go wrong? When I know this and I keep this close to my heart and in my consciousness. When we step out every day and are reminded who and whose we are, we express our highest good. We vibrate at the highest level. And we bring that source of love and energy out through the universe, into our communities, into our families, with our friends. So I know that energy that's bubbling here right now bubbles through this perfect service. It's unfolding in the highest order, perfectly. I send blessings to Rev.Sherry as her words of inspiration bring this energy even to a higher, more finite focus for us to know the truth, to know that we are blessed and we are a blessing. Thank you, God. Thank you, divine indwelling presence. Thank you, Spirit, whatever you call this energy of goodness. I know my word has already been heard, and therefore it has already been made manifest on this earth plane, and that I need do nothing further but trust and know that all is well. And so it is. Amen.
As Rev.Sherry mentioned, of a new chant. I started last week. We'll do it again. And I'll sing just the very first part. The world is a place of great love for all. The world is a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. You got it? Oh, this is going to sound good. I can tell. The world is a place of great love for all. The world is a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. I am a place of great love for all. I am a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. You are a place of great love for all. You are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, you are a place of great peace. We are a place of great love for all. We are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world are a race of great
Today's inspirational reading is entitled More Loving in My Heart by Howard Thurman from The Inward Journey. I want to be more loving in my heart. I want to be more loving. Often there are good and sufficient reasons for exercising what seems a clean, direct resentment. Again and again, I find it hard to hold in check the sharp retort, the biting comeback, when it seems that someone has done violence to my self-respect and decent regard. How natural it seems to give as good as I get, to take nothing lying down, to announce to all and sundry in 1,000 ways that no one can run over me and get away with it. All this is a part of the thicket in which my heart gets caught again and again. Deep within me, I want to be more loving, to glow with the warmth that will take the chill off the room, which I share with those whose lives touch mine in the traffic of my goings and comings. I want to be more loving. I want to be more loving in my heart. It is often easy to have the idea in mind, the plan to be more loving, to see it with my mind and give assent to the thought of being loving. This is crystal clear. But I want to be more loving in my heart. I must feel like loving. I must ease the tension in my heart that ejects the sharp barb, the stinging word. I want to be more loving in my heart that, with unconscious awareness and deliberate intent, I shall be a kind, a gracious human being. Thus, those who walk the way with me may find it easier to love, to be gracious because of the love of God which is increasingly expressed in my living. I want to be more loving in my heart.
Good morning, everybody. Look at all these people around here. Look, this is great. You know, when they go to the next room, they're going to have to have a bigger room, I think, aren't they? That's a good thing. I saw Kathy Mattea at the MIM. Everybody go to the MIM? And she was up there tuning. She says, "I tune because I care." So it's just a nice way of putting it there. As we get ready for you. So. Okay. This is one of my favorite songs. Being a writer, I always say, like, boy, I wish I would have written that song. And humble and kind in this one, I wish I would have written that. At a time full of war, be peace. At a time full of doubt, just believe. Yeah, there ain't that much difference between you and me. At a time full of war, be peace. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La 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 la, la la la. In a place that needs change, make a difference. In a world full of noise, just listen. 'Cause life is but a breeze, you better live it. In a place that needs change, make a difference. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. In a race that you can't win, slow it down. 'Cause you only get one go around. 'Cause the finish line is 6 feet in the ground. In a race that you can't win, just slow it down. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. Yeah, it's hard to live in color when you just see black and white. In a world full of hate, be a light. All right.
Thank you so much, Reverend Glenn. Yes. It's been such a joy having him here. He just fits right into our being back and being here in person. Let me just explain so that I say it one time and then I don't have to say it 25 times about my knee, about my limp, about my cane. We went home for the pandemic on a Monday back in March 2020. And that Tuesday, I was out for a walk, and I was walking right down that sidewalk out there, because my daughter lived back over in one of the buildings back over this way. And as I was walking back, I walked up to Cactus, and as I was walking back, all of a sudden, something came loose in my knee. And I sort of limped back to the car. And we were just right in the beginnings of the pandemic, so I didn't go to a doctor then. And time passed, and I didn't go to the doctor. And time passed, and I didn't go to the doctor. And time passed, and I finally got a cane. So that's what's happening with my knee, and I am going to go to the doctor. Those of you who know my story know that I had a torn meniscus in my other knee, and I walked around with it for 20 years before I had it fixed. But I'm not going to do that this time, I promise. So I am going to go and have it repaired, have it checked out. I'm not sure what's happening with it, but I feel more comfortable going now. So I wanted to say that so that people aren't kind of wondering why does she have a cane? Why is she limping? Why is she walking that way? So that's the story. So let's take a breath. As you know, our theme for the month is Welcome Home. Welcome Home. Welcome Home. And as I say all the time, home is not place specific. Home is wherever the heart is. Home is where we are. Home is where we feel comfortable. Home is where we get to be ourselves. Home is where we can open our hearts, open our minds, open our entire being. Home is like heaven. It is within us. And so home is wherever we are. We just have to recognize that home is where we are. And so that's what we're talking about now. Welcome home after all this time of being apparently separate in our separate places. We get a chance to come back together, and that's why we play the music at the beginning, Welcome Back, from Welcome Back, Kotter. It's just so good to be in this place of a welcome home. And so my topic for today is a place for everyone. A place for everyone. A place for everyone. Home can be a place for everyone. It can really be a place for everyone. And too many words are trying to come through at the same time. So we started on a rebranding process since we've been out over the last couple of years, and we have a lot of new things that are going to be happening for CLF. One of which is a tagline: Creative Living Fellowship, a place for everyone. A place for everyone. Creative Living Fellowship, a place for everyone. And so that's why I chose that topic today. Our Spirit chose that topic today. A place for everyone. We are a place for everyone. And so when you think about a place is a specific location or situation. That's what a place is. And we think of a place as a place that we're going to go to or arrive at or something like that. But a place is really, it's really a space, but a place defines space. There's a difference in a place and a space. And Creative Living Fellowship, I would like to see us be a place for everyone. You know, some years ago, I was a member of a community, and I didn't quite fit in there. Even though there were things that I did there, I participated in things, and people were really, really nice. But I didn't quite fit in, and when I decided to leave there and go to another place, I was talking to someone who asked me, who was an authority there, and who asked me, why was I leaving? And I said, because there isn't a place for me here. And I was told that, but there is, we've created all kinds of space for you. You do this, you've done that. Yes, that's a space, but that isn't a place. Having a space is like if you're having Thanksgiving dinner or if you're having family dinner and someone drops in, you create a space for them. You put an extra plate on the table. You create a space for them. You pull an extra chair up. You create a space for them by making everybody move around so that there's space for them to move into. That's not a place. A place is if there's a space already created, and and it doesn't have to be a physical space that's been created, but an energetic space that's created. Does that make sense? And so there's a difference in a place and a space. You know, if you get onto a bus, I don't know why that came to mind. If you get on a bus and it's really, really crowded, then somebody will make a space for you. They'll move aside and make a space for you. But, you know, if you get on and there's a seat there, there's a place for you. And that's how we want to be at Creative Living Fellowship, making sure that there's a place for everyone. That there's a place for everyone. Let's take a breath. Making sure there's a place for everyone. And this concept of a place for everyone is sort of threefold, as things generally are with me. Everything starts with God. Everything starts with Spirit. Spirit is a place for everyone. That presence of God is a place for everyone, and it's a place that we return to over and over and over again. We don't have to look for a crowd or try to fit in or whatever. There's a place for everyone in God. And so that's why we always get to that concept of seeking ye first the kingdom of God. Because there's a place for us there. There's a place for all of us. There's a place for everyone in the kingdom of God. So we know this, and we have to keep turning within over and over and over again and keep returning to that place that is already ours over and over and over again. And of course, we do that with our spiritual practice. We do that with the way that we live. We do that by practicing the presence of God. We do that by always being aware that power and that presence of God is always right where we are. That is home, or that with a capital T. That is home, that place and that space that we are all seeking, that we are all a part of, that we are all from. That is home. That is where that place for everyone is always. And all we need to do is return to it, because it's always right there, awaiting our recognition of it, awaiting our return to it. And so that's what we do. We just return over and over and over again. And so we know that, and we forget. We know that, and we forget. And so we have to keep reminding ourselves, keep remembering that we seek first the kingdom, because there's a place for everyone in the kingdom. And the kingdom is within each one of us. So as we turn within, over and over and over again, getting to know who we are, getting anchored in who we are, healing that sense of separation, which is the only thing that ever needs to be healed, is our sense of separation from God. Then when we get into that, then we are in our place. We all get that. We have to get it here. We have to get it in our hearts. And so that brings me to the second thing. Is there a place in your heart for everyone? Is there a place in your heart for everyone? Breathe that in. Is there a place in your heart for everyone? I see some heads shaking. Think about it. A place for everyone. That doesn't mean a place in your life for everyone. That doesn't mean a place in your circle of friends for everyone. I'm talking about the heart space. Is there a place in your heart for everyone? Because if your heart is closed to anyone, then a closed heart is a closed heart. On some level, if your heart is closed to anyone, it's close to yourself also. And so, is there a place in your heart for everyone? And that's a good question for us to have in mind as we go through this election season. Let's breathe that in. As we go through all the negativity, as we go through all the recriminations, as we go through all the accusations and the judgment and the them and us and the separation and those things that would make us otherize people who are not in our circle, who don't look like us, who don't worship like us. Is there a place in your heart for everyone? Is there a place in your heart for everyone? Are you willing to allow there to be a place in your heart for everyone? You don't have to like them. You don't have to want to associate with them. You don't have to see them. You don't have to know them. You don't have to be friends with them. You don't have to live with them. You don't have to associate. You don't have to do any of that. All you need to do is keep open the door of your heart. All you need to do is set your intention to be more loving in your heart. To be more loving in your heart. To be more loving in your heart. That's a tough one. I know how tough that is. And you know what? When we find that we can't be, when we find that somebody really irritates us, when we find that somebody really gets on our last nerve, that's when our work begins. That's when our work begins. Because when somebody gets on your last nerve, do you know that that's the time to look at yourself? That's the time to look at yourself to see what's going on with you. That's the time for me to look at myself when I'm really irritated with somebody. Somebody has really triggered me. Somebody has really pushed my button. They couldn't push it if I didn't let them. They couldn't push it if I didn't let them. So what is it in me that's being triggered? What is it in me that I'm recognizing from that other person's actions? From the way they look, from the way they talk, from the way they treat other people, from the way, whatever the case may be. What is it in me that needs to be healed? What is it in me that's feeling separate? What is it in me that I'm looking at that I don't like? Because there's only one life. There's only one life. There's only one of us here. There's only one of us here. One. We are all expressions of that one. And so if there's something that we don't like, what is it in me? Because knowing that life is a mirror, that we're always looking at ourselves, we're always looking at reflections of ourselves. And I always say when I'm looking at someone else who's acting out or who's really bothering me, that they're a lot worse than I am. And that it's just bad like that so that I can see it, but it's not that bad in me. You know, that put it in that nice little package and not own it. But you know, how long can you do that? Before you have to be really, really honest. If you really want to live your best life, if you really want to practice the principles that we have available to us, if you really want to live these teachings, then we really have to go deep with it. We really have to go to those dark places. We really have to go to those ugly places within each of us when we see it come up in somebody else. We have to be willing to own our own ugliness. We have to be willing to own our own ugliness. our own prejudice, our own biases, our own unforgiveness, our own blame, our own judgment, our own whatever the case may be. We have to be willing to own that. And that ain't easy. Trust me, it's not. And we can say that the other person is so much worse than we are, all we want. Maybe they are. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? So what have you proved once you decide and prove that they're worse than you are? So, okay, so what? So what are you going to do about you? What are you going to do about you? What does that do for your heart? What does that do for your life? That you can walk around then feeling superior because they're worse than I am. What does that do for us? And if it makes us feel good for now, oh, that's a temporary fix. Oh, that's a Band-Aid. Do you really want to live your best life? That's the question. Do you really want to live your best life? And that's what the teachings of the science of mind and spirit can help us do, is to learn to live our best lives. It's to learn to go deeper in consciousness. It's to learn to expand our consciousness so that our lives can be transformed. And as our lives are transformed, as our hearts open, and our hearts become a place for everyone, then CLF becomes a place for everyone. But CLF can't be a place for everyone if there's anyone who's a part of this community who will not allow their hearts to be a place for everyone, or who's not at least willing to work on that. Because we are CLF. We are the community. We are this community. Each one of us in our own unique individual way. Each one of us is CLF. Think about that one. Think about that. And so if we're going to be a place for everyone, and the vision that kept coming through as we've been doing community visioning, and not only community visioning, but the vision core and all, the thing that has always come up is expansion and growth. Expansion and growth. This community is going to expand and grow, expand and grow, expand and grow. Well, if it expands and grows, it's going to bring people in who are not like us. It's going to bring people in who don't think like us. It's going to bring people in who don't act like us. It's going to bring people in we don't really know, that we have to get to know, we have to learn to accept. Can we find room in our hearts to accept everyone and to be a place for everyone? That's the question for us now. The question for us as a community, as we come back together after 2.5 years, as I call it, of roaming through the desert in the drought. And now the rain has begun. And now we're being refreshed, now we're being restored, now we're being renewed, now we are really coming into remembering, bringing back all the members, remembering. Each time we come in here and see each other, we remember who we are as a community. And our hearts are open. But what's going to happen when somebody comes in and more and more people start coming in, and they will, who we don't know? What's going to happen then? How are we going to be then? Are we willing to really be a community? What kind of community do we want to be? What kind of community do we want to be? Do we want to be a place for everyone? Or do we want to have an exclusive club? These are all questions for you to ask yourself. Because you know what? We don't live in an exclusive world, even though people are trying to make it that way. When we look out around us, when we hear all the chatter on TV and wherever else, we hear chatter, or when you see it on your cell phones, on social media, whatever, all that chatter about exclusivity, excluding others, otherizing, as I said, otherizing people. All of that is a symptom and a symbol of a closed heart. A closed heart. And so my question for you is, are you willing to be a place for everyone? Because just as there is a CLF, as I said, has to be wants to be a place for everyone, we have to want to be a place for everyone. And the other part of that is we are a place for everyone, and everyone has a place. So where is your place in this community? Where's your place in this community? Because when we start to talk about your place in the community, we're starting to talk about service. We're starting to talk about service. How can you serve this community? Each of us has a role to play. Each of us has a way in which we can serve this community. And this community needs serving if we're going to survive, if we're going to continue to be a community, if we're going to thrive. We don't only want to survive, we want to thrive. We want to thrive, we want to grow, we want to expand. We want to be a light out into the world. A light out into the world. Just like Reverend Glenn's song was saying, just being a light out into the world. How can we do that unless each of us takes responsibility and ownership for this community? And that's what we do through our service. Serving in your own unique way. Serving according to we all have gifts, we all have abilities, we all have talents. And we aren't measuring them by big and little. We all have them by willingness to share, willingness to give, willingness to serve, willingness to be a part of this community and sustaining this community by helping it to grow, by helping it to continue to thrive and to expand. So the question for you is, what can I do? How can I serve? How can I serve? Not thinking, well, I don't know how to do this, but that person can do much more. Or comparing yourself to others, the 11th commandment, thou shalt not compare. So we're not going to compare ourselves with others, but how can I serve? And recognizing that service is not just about doing something. Service is really a way of life. It's a way of giving. It's a way of sharing. It's a way of caring. It's a way of helping. It's a way of being. That's what service is about. It's a way of being. And not measuring, well, I can't do but a little bit, or whatever the case may be. It's just doing whatever you can do, deciding how you want to serve, and asking the question, how can I serve? And that's a question that is needed right here at CLF, right now. How can I serve? I believe we have more than 4 people who can serve. 5 people who can serve. And we've had a lot of 5 people doing things for the last 2.5 years, that we've kept things moving, we've kept things going, kept things going, kept things going. And I'm asking that the doors are open, our hearts are open, our minds are open. The opportunity is here. The opportunity is here. The office is open Sunday through Thursday from 10 to 5. If you want to know how you can serve, call and ask. Or if you want to do something, offer something, call. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have community. We don't need a building for that. Just because we're not on 7th Street or in a building doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity to give. There's not an opportunity to share. There's not an opportunity to serve. And so I'm inviting you to really look at service. To really look at service, because service is an act of the heart. Service is an act of the heart. And all of this ties in together because God's dwelling place, as Howard Thurman says, is in the hearts of men. I'll say in the hearts of people. God's dwelling place is in the hearts of each one of us. It's in the hearts of each one of us. And as we open our hearts to each other, that's how this community thrives. That's how this community grows. That's how this community truly becomes a place for everyone. A place for everyone. And that's really what it's all about, being a place for everyone. And so I'm inviting you today to look at ways that you can serve, little ways, big ways. I'm having a flash right now of my sister lives in Atlanta. One of my sisters lives in Atlanta. And I have another sister who lives in Ohio. But my sister who lives in Atlanta, went to Alabama last weekend because my mother's last sister, who was alive, passed away, and the funeral was last weekend. And my sister, who lives in Atlanta, would go periodically to visit her, and she was there for the funeral. Well, whenever she goes to my parents' grave in Selma, Alabama, and puts flowers on and just visits with them for a bit. And she always sends pictures to my other sister and me. And so this morning, before I left home, she sent a picture of herself at the gravesite, and you could see the name Frazier on the headstone, on the whatever you call it, there on the ground. And it wasn't a tombstone like this. It was a flat piece. Whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, Frazier was on there, and someone, I guess, a cousin of mine, took a picture of her, clearing it off and putting fresh flowers. And I was thinking about service, and that all of a sudden I became aware that's service. That's service. That's service. That she goes whenever she's in Alabama, she goes and she puts flowers and she sends them to my sister and me. She sends pictures to my sister and me. That's service to us. That's service to our family. There's so many ways that we can serve. There's so many ways that we can serve. But that really touched my heart when I saw that picture this morning, because I was thinking about service, and I was thinking about the many ways that we can serve. And I was thinking about the many ways because, as I said, service is an action of the heart. It was an action of the heart for her to put those flowers there and then send them to my sister, send the picture to my sister and me, so that we could see that, so we could share in that moment with her. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do in your life? What can you do that would really be meaningful to the world, the person before you, this community? How can you be more loving in your heart? How can your heart be a place for everyone? That's the big question for us. That's the big question for us. And so I invite you to really, 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 really consider it. Really consider it. It doesn't matter that you've always been this way. I've never liked that person. I've never wanted to be that way. Or whatever the case may be. Why not change? What would happen if you changed? What would happen if you let go of the way you used to be? What would happen if you stopped blocking? Because when you're blocking the free flow of spirit. What would happen if we allowed spirit to just flow and flow and flow and flow and flow freely in our lives? What would happen to us? What would happen to our families? What would happen to our friends? What would happen to our community? What would happen to this community? What would happen to the world? Because it all starts with us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be love on earth, and let it begin with me. Wow, let's take a breath. I invite you to let your heart be a place for everyone, so that this community can be a place for everyone. So let's turn within in this moment. Just taking a deep breath now, in and out. Just feeling that breath breathe, each one of us, knowing that this breath is the only breath, knowing that this breath is the breath of life, knowing that this breath is the breath of God, knowing that God is all that there is. God is all that there is. The only breath, the only power, the only presence, the only mind, the only activity, the only love is God. And so just knowing this truth, I know that this onlyness that is God is my life, my home. It is the life of each of us here this day. It is a source of our being. And it doesn't matter what we call it. We can call it God. We can call it spirit. We can call it Atman presence. We can call it whatever we want, or we don't have to call it anything. It doesn't matter to God. Just knowing that this one is our source, and this one is that from which we can never be separate, that it is closer to us than our heartbeat. Think about that. Feel your heartbeat. Think about the fact that it's closer to us than our heartbeat. It's nearer than hands and feet, this presence, this power, this essence that is God. And so knowing this truth, I speak the word for each of us this day, just speaking a word of love, knowing that love heals all. Love heals all. Love heals all. And I'm speaking the word of love for each and every one of us. Knowing that our hearts are filled with love, and knowing that anything that is unlike love is dissolved and let go. Dissolved into nothingness, into the nothingness from whence it came. Anything that is unlike love is gone. Poof. It's gone. We release it. We let it go. And as we do so, we are filled with that essence of wholeness, joy and peace and harmony and balance and forgiveness and compassion. We are filled with the presence of God. And in that presence of God is everything that we could possibly need or desire. All things are made new in this presence of God. And as we open our hearts and open our minds to it, it heals all things in our body temples, knowing that every organ, cell, tissue, function, system of our body temples are filled with the presence of God, filled with the radiant healing presence of God. Knowing that our bodies of affairs, our lives, every aspect of our lives are filled with the presence of God. And that healing presence of God moves in and through every situation, every circumstance. And all things are made new. Knowing that presence of God is showing up as whatever we may need at any given moment, whatever we may name that need, God shows up as that thing. As that thing. And all we need to do is move out of the way and just allow it to be established. And by the word that I'm speaking now, we move out of the way. Anything that would block is released, is let go, is dissolved. And that power and that presence is established, for it is in the midst of everything. I'm going to pause momentarily in this circle of prayer so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or aloud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them. That God is in the midst of every circumstance, every situation, every event. God's in the midst of it all. God is in the midst of it all. There is no spot where God is not. I know indeed that all is well. This word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, wherever there is unrest, wherever there is illness, wherever there is anything that is discord of any kind. God is in the midst of it all. Wherever there's loss, God is the great comforter. God is the great comforter. God is all there is. God is all there is. And I don't care how many words I use to try to describe it. The indescribable is what God is. I know that all is well. I know that healing is happening everywhere, despite any appearances. For I know that God is everywhere. Thank you, Father and Mother God. Thank you, Divine Presence. Thank you, Infinite Being. I simply allow it to be. And so it is. It is. It is.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer that calls me from a world of care and bids me to my inner home make all. my wants and wishes know. In seasons of distress and grief, my soul has often found relief. And once unknown is made aware by thy return, sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, thy wings shall this my treatment bear. Would where prove true and faithfulness engage my waiting soul to bless. And in this place, a peaceful pace, I speak my word and trust in grace. I speak, cast right here my every care and wait for thee, sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer. I wait for thee, sweet hour of prayer.
Thank you, Reverend Glenn. We used to sing that song when I was a child at my mother's church.
I figured you'd know that one. Actually, it's kind of interesting. It has words in it like you escape my tempter snare into my all that.
Yeah.
I changed it to a metaphysical.
I heard it.
Notice thy wings shall this my treatment bear.
I heard it. Thank you so much. Deb Covington is going to handle our offering right now. Thank you, Deborah. Oh, you don't need this.
You get to come up here.
Yeah, I'm going to step on this side so I don't step on your cord.
That's okay. It's
this time.
still playing.
Last week I unplugged him. So we've come to this time of our conscious giving right now in our service. This is the time that we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving. We are a tithing church, and we encourage you to give your tithe and offerings here at CLF. There's several ways that we have given you opportunities to give. Online, you can use the donate button on our Facebook and on our website as well, too. And you can also use your smartphone to text to give by using the phone number that's on the screen here. And we are going to do this in person right now by calling forward the ushers to collect your gifts. And while we're doing that, we will join Reverend Glenn in leading us in our offering song, I Trust in God.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm grateful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
And so it is. Announcement time.
Good morning, everybody. It's so great to see you. I'm Nicole. I'm one of the other 5 people for the last couple of years, so I'm not giving up the announcements. I am actually looking for my assistant. Just in case you need something to read, so he's got to get in charge of that. Thank you, Reverend Jorge. All right, so today is our special membership meeting. It's after service. When service is over, we'll give you about 10, 15 minutes for a bathroom break, which is down that hall. So don't go all the way to the lobby, go down the hall and a little bit around the corner. And we also will have refreshments here, so you'll have time to get those, but please come back to your seat so we can get started with that meeting. And, Rev.Sherry McCreary, she is offering Manifest More Money again. And here she is to tell us more.
Hello there. I'm Rev.Sherry McCreary, the creator and facilitator of Manifest More Money. You know, so many of our New Thought communities, our members are struggling right now about money. There's constant news of inflation, recession, gas prices, and it's easy to forget the truth. The truth is, we live in an abundant universe. The truth is that unlimited abundance is our divine birthright. It's time to heal our relationship with money. If that's work you want to do, I invite you to join me in the online course, Manifest More Money. We're kicking off on October 31st. We are going to do a deep dive into spiritual practice and practical actions to help you bust through your money set point, to help you release old toxic money beliefs that are holding you back, to help you manifest more money with ease and grace, and to help you move into divine right relationship with money. If that sounds like work you want to do, I want you to join me on October 31st. Now, the good thing is your center has its own unique registration link, and I want you to use that link and that link only to register for this course. When you do, your center will receive a percentage of your registration fee. I am partnering with your center's profit sharing, so we all benefit. Listen, we're going to kick off on Mondays, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, starting October 31st for 5 Mondays. I hope you'll join me. I look forward to seeing you there. I will see you and Manifest More Money. Bye.
So the link that she was referring to can be found on our website. I also have a few of these printouts at the other table. There's a QR code on the back, and if you're allergic to technology, all you have to do is try and take a picture of it, and it'll take you there. And it's in Zoom. It's an online class, and if you haven't ever taken a class with Rev.Sherry, you want to. She's amazing, and this is a very amazing class that's a lot of people that just finished it are signing up to take it again, so don't miss it. The Ernest Holmes book study starts back up on Saturday, November 5th, with a Holmes reader on change. It's a great title. This is a 3-week drop-in group, so get your copy today from Science of Mind Archives and read through, I guess, the first section of it, and then join in on Zoom starting on Saturday, November 5th from 10 a.m. to noon. And the theme of the 1958 reader is change, a phenomenon that proves troublesome to everyone at one stage or another. I don't know, is that true? Are we all really good with change? Sometimes. When it suits us, yeah, sure, no problem. We accept that change is inevitable. Yet few of us consistently and gladly welcome changes in our own lives, which require us to move beyond familiar patterns of behavior. And I am going to be reminding you to call your doctor. You can find the link for the reader and for Zoom on our website. We continue to offer our live streams throughout the week with midday meditation, which is at noon, Monday through Friday. And it's exactly what it implies. It's 30 minutes of silent meditation in the middle of the day to get centered and connected. And we have Monday practice with Reverend Jorge at 6:30 p.m. on Mondays. That's a surprise. It's a great time to explore spiritual practices that apply Sunday messages to our day-to-day life. And you can participate in both of these through our live streams on Facebook or YouTube at those times. And if you can't make that time, you can rewatch it because it's the internet. Once it's out there, it never goes away. I know, he's doing a good job of keeping up with me because I keep going off script. So then Tuesday night, stay connected and supported with your CLF family and join Rev.Sherry as she hosts a Community Care Connection Zoom meeting at 6:30. This week, Rev.Sherry will be leading us in Life's Purpose Visioning. And this is one of our spiritual practices, our Sacred 7 practices, and it's a powerful process that reveals more the more you do it. Visioning is a spiritual practice that aligns you to possibilities for your life greater than you could imagine for yourself. Join us this Tuesday and open up, surrender, and catch God's vision for your life. And so you can find the information for all of this on our website. And that's about it. Yep.
Thank you very much, Nicole. So what reminders do I have? Excuse me, I can do better than this. Okay. Just to remind you that we have the meeting, as Nicole said, immediately after service. And one of the other reminders is always to use the treatment for supply. It works, it works, it works. That's our community prayer and has been, and people have been using it for the last 3 years now, and it really works. So I invite you to do that, and to stay after, between the meeting and now, we will have refreshments in the back. And just a word about the refreshments. We had refreshments last week, just to celebrate our coming back, and we have refreshments today to continue to celebrate our coming back and our meeting. And this is the last day for refreshments here at the hotel. Because they're not free refreshments. So, but there are places around, like outside there, and then there's a place down the hallway a bit that you can get coffee and refreshments after today if you'd like to. But right now the refreshments are on us, so stay behind and have some fellowship with us. I think that's all, is it? I think that's all that I have. So let's. I'm just looking through my notes here. Oh, yeah, I didn't forget that. I just thought I had another announcement. Here's an affirmation. Let's do our closing affirmation together. Something wonderful is happening in my life right now. I know it. I sense it. I feel it. I thank God for it. And so it is. Yes. So we will have our closing song. I release and let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my